of the X-ray attacks in Mortal Kombat X actually survivable, or will all of them send you straight to the morgue?
Watching from the sky, a beam of light. I am Electric Eye.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, class is now in session. Don't give me that look. Oh, wait a second, I did forget to tell you guys. By watching this video, you are now enrolled in the Arkham Academy. Batman himself commissioned that I, Brian of Chamber of the Wraith, have a look at Arkham City and try and teach you guys how to be at your very best when it comes to this game's multiple combat and predator challenges. Now, this class will assume that you have all of the challenges unlocked through getting the Riddler trophies necessary. You don't have to get all of the Riddler trophies, just enough to get all of the challenges. This class will also assume that you have all of the upgrades, which really should not be that difficult. Just level up all your characters all the way by playing through the story mode and finding trophies. Not that difficult, folks. And of course, this will be a look, as you can tell from the title of this video, of general basics on how to beat challenges and breakdowns of the abilities, not quite the gadgets yet, but the abilities of Batman, Catwoman, Robin, and Nightwing. Not sure why I did that, because I don't think I've got stickers for those guys. But, without further ado, we're diving headfirst into this class, so hold on to your butts. We're gonna go thug hunting. That is a thing, right? Thug hunting? I guess if you're a vigilante, I guess that would be the thing. Enough rambling! Off to class! Now, combat challenges are fairly obvious on paper, and you're probably looking at me thinking, why should I be taught this? Well, for those of you who aren't 100% sure, it's very simple. Just try and get the score required to get all 3 medals and you win. In the Blind Justice Challenge, that's 24,000 points. So, beat up the thugs and get as high of a score as possible in 4 rounds. Now, you can get higher points by doing certain moves, like instant takedowns, and using certain gadgets, and mixing things up in a fight and using as many different moves as possible will help amplify your score. For instance, let's have a look at this round that was done by Catwoman. You can see from how the score is ticked off that the base score is there, which is how many points you got in the fight. A variation bonus is applied for different basic combat moves that you use in the fight. Gadget variation bonus is applied if you use certain gadgets in each fight. A perfect round means you never got hit, and flawless free flow means you did the whole challenge in one combo, meaning it's hypothetically possible to get a perfect round, i.e. not getting hit, while dropping a combo. And you can see the scores are high. Now, for predator challenges, it's also fairly simple on paper. Complete all 3 challenges needed for taking out thugs, like doing a double takedown on this stage, for instance, as Batman, and getting everybody knocked out as quickly as possible. Which is why I use this particular stage, because I've actually been able to take these guys out in 45 seconds in the past. Although, full clarification, this Predator run takes about a minute, if not slightly less. But it's to show how quickly you can get things done. The primary thing to do is to try and get all 3 challenges. If you're not a speed freak, which is actually recommended for certain challenges, like if you do some of the harder, more extreme challenges, I recommend slowing things down a little bit so that you can ensure that you get all of the challenges without having to worry about getting shot too much. There is no bonus for doing it flawlessly, but I personally recommend it. We will cover the extra content challenge maps another time, as some of them are fairly interesting. Now, I did mention extreme challenges, and there are extreme versions of every challenge in Arkham City. For combat challenges, that just simply means that enemy arrangements get tougher, enemies get more aggressive, and there are chances that you can get more terrifying enemies like Titans. Predator challenges usually mean more enemies, armored thugs that have guns, and sometimes even jammers in combat. And one thing to keep in mind, of course, is that in extreme combat challenges, you have a higher chance of running into lieutenants, who have unblockable attacks that do big damage. And this is worth keeping in mind, so practice makes perfect. Don't be afraid to get hit, but of course getting hit ruins both your combo and your perfect night bonus. So, without further ado, let's have a quick look at a character overview, starting with Batman.
Don't make me hurt you.
Batman is definitely the jack of all trades in this game. Being the character that you play as mainly throughout the story mode, he has the most variety of gadgets of any of the characters, and has the biggest variety of moves, ranging from the special combo multi-takedown to using his remote electric charge to knock armored enemies down. He can also use the special combo Bat Swarm to stun multiple opponents in order to set up beatdown opportunities, which is very useful against armored opponents for one simple reason. Armored opponents cannot be hit in most normal ways. You can't use standard projectiles on them, counters only really get them off of you and don't add to your multiplier, and you can't do normal strikes on them. Beatdowns are the best way to take them down. Alongside all of the universal things, including counters and catching projectiles, he is also the only character to destroy opponent weapons. This is especially useful if Batman comes across shields, stun batons, and assault rifles, all of which he can destroy with the special combo Disarm and Destroy. This is very useful in some of the more extreme combat challenges, alongside all 5 of Batman's gadgets. He is the only one with 5 gadgets that he can use. Well, 5 quickfire gadgets, rather, in the game. Incredibly useful for building up big scores in combat challenges. He is also a superior predator with again, a lot of gadgets, including the line launcher, something that he is only sharing with Nightwing. He can use this to set up zip lines in order to get around, or to do takedown opportunities that most other characters cannot perform, alongside all of the other gadgets that he uses for his excellent takedown opportunities. Batman is definitely the most powerful of the characters that you're going to be playing as, and he will be definitely the most familiar to you, as you will have been playing as him through the main game, as it is Batman Arkham City, not Robin Arkham City or Nightwing Arkham City. So a quick recap. Pros. Batman is the most varied character out of any character in the game. He can also destroy weapons, and he is very familiar to everybody who plays the game. His only real con is that he's got a lot to keep track of when it comes to using things in challenges. But once you get that straight, Batman is the ultimate in vigilante justice. Time to move on to Catwoman.
I'm lost, boys. Can anyone help a girl?
Catwoman, in a word, is speed. Her attacks are generally faster than the boys, and she actually has the fastest beatdown of any character in the game, being able to beat down so fast that even Batman would be jealous. She also has 2 crowd control abilities that are excellent. The special combo Whip Trip trips up most of the opponents that are surrounding her, and the special combo Whiplash leaves opponents standing, but does more damage than the Whip Trip, and can even knock out multiple opponents if timed properly. However, she has the slowest aerial attack in the game, and while she has a fairly long list of disadvantages, relatively speaking, over the boys, one of them is not her ability to make Titans berserk. She's the only one who can do this, and unlike the boys who can ride the Titans and thus be invulnerable for a short time, she can drive them berserk and set up more takedown opportunities. Where she truly struggles, however, are Predator challenges. Alongside having the second worst detective vision in the game, she is also the only character that does not have a grapnel gun, instead relying on this cat-claw minigame in order to get to vantage points and the like. She also, has the lightest gadget pool at only 3 gadgets: the Caltrops, the Whip, and the Bolas. This makes her beginner-friendly, but it also means that she can't do certain takedowns like the other guys can. For instance, setting up takedowns with explosive gel. She is, however, one of the fastest runners in the game, if not the fastest runner in the game. And uniquely, her run is silent, meaning that she can run up to opponents without being heard. But because of her lack of a grapnel gun, she has to use her whip in order to get to certain situations, and the whip has a limited range, meaning that she can only really do so much in Predator challenges. One thing she can do above the boys, however, is climb on ceilings. She's the only character capable of doing this, and this gives her a unique advantage, being able to crawl around and navigate the area without being seen, as she is above her enemies, or directly below them if they're on the floor above. She can even use her caltrops and bolas while on the roof, and she gains access to a unique silent takedown from the roof, as well as a louder takedown when an opponent is above her. If an opponent is above her when she's climbing on the roof, she will grab them with her whip from below and pull them down. This is a loud takedown, but it lures opponents to where the hapless victim fell, not necessarily where Catwoman is. With her ability to silently run up to opponents, she can do silent takedowns a little bit faster than everybody else because she doesn't have to crouch to sneak up on her opponents, although she can crouch just as well. However, one of her biggest pitfalls, she has less health than any of the other characters in the game, having only 2 upgrade slots for her health instead of 4. Now, the pros that she has are simple. She has the fastest beatdown, she can run without being hard, she's got great crowd control, can walk on some ceilings, and is the most straightforward. But her cons are just as long. With no grapnel gun, an inability to glide, less health, and a limited gadget pool, she really struggles with predator challenges. And with the slowest aerial attack, that is not the best thing in the world. Now it's time to move on to the boy wonder, Robin. Tim Drake's Robin is fairly interesting, as he is probably the most technical character in Batman Arkham City. Which means he's kind of difficult to use, but he doesn't take very long to get used to. One thing you do need to learn is to deal with his beatdown. It is the slowest and by far the worst beatdown of any character in the game. And because of how long counter animations sometimes take, you'll sometimes end up whiffing your beatdown because you're trying to counter multiple opponents at once. So the beatdown is best saved if you're using Robin for the very end of the fight. What's really good though is his special combo throw. Unique to Robin, this allows Robin to throw opponents into an almost guaranteed ground takedown, or throw opponents into each other to knock them down or knock them out. His back claw is replaced with the zip kick, which allows him to pull himself towards opponents to knock them down for an extended period of time. Robin actually has 2 methods of inflicting the longest knockdown state of any character besides maybe Nightwing. But one thing that's risky is the Snap Flash activation. Quickfire Snap Flash almost got me hit there because of how long it takes to activate. Where he can truly excel, though, is the Predator Challenge. He's only negligibly worse than Batman at the detective vision, only because his detective vision doesn't tell Robin how many opponents are left standing. Other than that, it's just like Batman's, and Batman's is the best. Now, with his gadgets having excellent utility in combat, they're even better in Predator challenges, setting up great takedowns, and even with the bullet shield, stopping bullets, allowing you to make a getaway, or set up for guaranteed shield bash takedown opportunities. So overall, let's have a quick look at what Robin brings to the table. He has an excellent gadget pool with great Predator utility. He can knock down opponents for the longest time. He has access to the throw and excellent detective vision. However, his cons include the slowest beatdown in the game, a risky quickfire Snap Flash, he can occasionally whiff the throw due to a bug, and is fairly technical. He's also the only character that cannot disarm opponents with their guns, which can be kind of risky in certain combat situations. Now it's time to move on to Nightwing, the final character we're covering today. Now, Nightwing is best described as a mix between Batman and Catwoman. He's got the grapnel gun like Batman and a fairly large gadget pool compared to Catwoman, but he cannot glide like Catwoman, and his detective vision is garbage. But his wrist darts are not. You only ever have 3 of them per challenge, but a headshot can instantly take down any opponent, even if they're armored. Now, and his Escrima sticks, while kind of tricky to aim due to how you have to get them to bounce off stuff, is great for clearing out crowds in a Predator scene because it can knock down up to 3 opponents at once. Now, he also has a group attack, which knocks down several opponents and allows him to move in for any sort of beatdown that he wants, and his beatdown is actually fairly quick. And the Group Electrify is like a better version of the Remote Electrical Charge that can send lieutenants dizzying and knock down armored enemies, etc., like the REC. And one thing that is worth noting is that, like Batman, he can use 5 gadgets in his sort of combo game, unlike Catwoman. Overall, he's fairly fast with good crowd control, decent gadget pool, and those wrist darts are no joke. However, his cons, there's quite a few of them. His detective vision, as I said, is terrible. His escrima sticks are tricky to aim, and speaking of aim, you need good aim for those headshots, and he cannot glide like Catwoman. And that's it! That's all of the information that you're getting in this weekly installment of the Arkham Almanac. Now, tune in next week as we look a little bit deeper into challenges, more specifically, how best to approach some of these challenges in order to get high scores, and we'll be looking at every character's gadget pool and what those gadgets can do. Stay tuned next week, and as always, don't forget to be awesome. Class dismissed.
The end of